I've driven the route from Chicago to St. Louis 100 times. I know every exit, every pothole, and every speed trap on Interstate 55. It was 2 days before Thanksgiving. The highway was a parking lot of red taillights. I was tired, frustrated, and just wanted to get home to my family. That's when my GPS chirped. Traffic ahead. Recalculating. A faster route is available. Saves 50 minutes. I didn't even think twice. I tapped accept. The GPS directed me to take the next exit, exit 13B. I frowned. I didn't remember there being a 13B, but I pulled the wheel and slid onto the off-ramp. Immediately, the smooth asphalt turned into cracked gray gravel. The streetlights vanished. I was plunged into total darkness, my headlights cutting through a thick layer of fog that seemed to rise from the ground. "Continue straight for 10 miles, the mechanical female voice said. I drove. The cornfields on either side of the road were tall and dead, swaying in a wind I couldn't feel. 5 miles in, I saw a car parked on the shoulder. It was an old 1970s sedan, rusted out. The hood was up. Standing next to it was a man in a trench coat waving for help. I'm not a bad guy, but it was 2 a.m. in the middle of nowhere. I didn't stop. I sped up, keeping my eyes on the road. I checked the GPS. Continue straight for 5 miles. I drove for another 10 minutes. The fog got thicker. Then my headlights caught something ahead. Another car on the shoulder, another rusted sedan. My stomach dropped. It was the same car, same rust spots, same open hood. And standing next to it was the same man in the trench coat. But this time, as I zoomed past him, he didn't wave. He pointed. He pointed straight at my car. And in the split second as I passed him, I saw his face. He didn't have eyes, just smooth skin where the sockets should be. I slammed on the dashboard display. "Shut up!" I yelled. I held the power button, trying to kill the screen. It wouldn't turn off. Instead, the brightness increased to 100%, blinding me in the dark cabin. "Rerouting," the voice spoke. It was back to the calm, mechanical tone. "In 1 mile, stop to pick up your passenger." "I'm not picking anyone up," I yelled. I floored the gas pedal. The speedometer climbed. 80, 90, 100 miles per hour. I was going to blast through this nightmare and get back to the highway. But the cornfields outside were blurring past in a gray streak. The road didn't curve, it didn't end. It just stretched on forever into the fog. Then I saw it again. The rusted sedan. This was the 3rd time I was passing it, but this time something was different. The hood wasn't up, the trunk was open, and the man in the trench coat was gone. The space beside the car was empty. My heart hammered against my ribs. I checked the rearview mirror. Nothing but darkness. "You have reached your stop," the GPS chirped cheerfully. "No, I haven't. I didn't slow down. I kept my foot pinned to the floor. Stop missed. Recalculating. Correcting error." Suddenly, my seatbelt tightened. It locked hard against my chest, squeezing the air out of my lungs. The doors clicked. Thud, thud. The automatic locks engaged. And then the radio turned on. It wasn't music. It was a sound I knew. It was the sound of a car door opening and then closing. Inside my car. The air in the cabin instantly dropped 20 degrees. I could see my breath in the air. I was terrified to look. I kept my eyes glued to the road, my knuckles white on the steering wheel. But I could feel it. The suspension of the car had shifted. There was a weight in the back seat, directly behind me. I heard the leather of the rear seat creak, as if someone was shifting their weight, getting comfortable. The GPS screen flashed red again. Passenger acquired. Proceed to final destination. Do not turn around. I didn't turn around. I stared straight ahead at the foggy road, tears streaming down my face. From the back seat, I heard breathing. It was wet and rattling like air passing through a crushed windpipe. A cold hand, smelling of wet earth and gasoline, rested on my shoulder. Destination in 500 feet, the GPS said. My foot was still on the gas, but the car began to slow down on its own. The brakes grinded, the steering wheel locked. I had no control. The car crawled to a stop on the gravel shoulder. The headlights illuminated a sign ahead. It wasn't a road sign. It was a grave marker. You have arrived, the GPS announced. The pressure in the cabin became unbearable. The hand on my shoulder squeezed tight. A voice, not the GPS, but a raspy human voice, whispered in my ear. My turn to drive. Your turn to wait. The passenger door opened. I felt a violent shove. I was thrown out of the moving car onto the cold gravel. I scrambled to my feet, coughing in the dust. I looked up just in time to see my own car, my safe, warm car, speeding away into the fog. The taillights faded and vanished. I was alone. I looked at myself. I wasn't wearing my hoodie anymore. I was wearing a long, dirty trench coat. I looked at my hands. They were pale and covered in rust. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. I tried to run, but my feet were frozen to the spot. I was paralyzed. Then, in the distance, I saw lights. A car was coming, a family SUV. It was moving fast, looking for a way around the traffic. I felt my arm raise up. I didn't want to do it, but my body moved on its own. I started waving for help. The car got closer. I could see the driver. He looked tired. He looked just like I did an hour ago. He slowed down. He looked at me. I tried to warn him. I tried to scream, "Go back!" But I had no mouth. I had no eyes. I saw the horror on his face as he zoomed past me, speeding deeper into the fog. I watched his taillights disappear, and then I waited. Because the GPS never lies. Another driver will accept the detour soon, and I need a ride home.